Right now on CBS 12 News this morning, the gubernatorial candidates taking the debate stage to try to win your vote.
The only worn-out old donkey I'm looking to put out to pasture is Charlie Crist.
His focus is not on Florida. It's not on you. You deserve a governor who has your back. I always did, and I always will.
Flashing on some of the most important issues to voters, from the rippling economy.
Good luck buying a home. Good luck renting an apartment. And it's because Governor DeSantis has taken his eye off the ball.
It's much more expensive to replace a roof today than just 3 years ago, thanks to the Biden-Crist policies.
To our kids' education in the classroom.
And we're not going to teach people to hate each other in our schools.
You are the one that's waging the culture war. I'm simply defending parents and students.
And the important fight over women's rights.
I understand not everyone's going to be born in perfect circumstances, but I would like to see everybody have a shot.
And I want to make sure that we don't have a governor in the future who wouldn't even allow exceptions for rape or incest.
We'll show you the most important moments of a very contentious night so you can make an informed vote on November 8th. CBS 12 News This Morning starts now. And those are only just a few of the moments from an intense and at times unruly Florida gubernatorial debate hosted by CBS 12 News. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Lincoln.
And I'm Sam Kerrigan. Our Liz Quirantes asked questions from you, our viewers, about the issues you wanted the candidates to answer before casting your vote.
And we have team coverage all morning long on this with big takeaways from the Sunrise Theater stage in Fort Pierce.
We start with CBS 12's Danielle DeRoss at the live desk. Danielle, what moment stood out most from last night?
Well, Matt and Sam, the top issue on voters' minds is the economy, and that was the focus of our first set of questions to the candidates last night. Moderator Liz Quirantes, using voter-generated questions, asked DeSantis and Crist about their plans to add affordable housing, address rising inflation, and fix Florida's troubled home insurance market. Governor DeSantis defended his administration's actions on insurance so far, and he blamed rising premiums on the amount of lawsuits that are filed in Florida each year.
I think what we need to do, we need to build off what we did with the reinsurance, because that's a big issue, and we have to address the rising costs of litigation. It's not about lining the pockets of billboard lawyers. It's about having a competitive market where people have a shot to make ends meet.
And everybody watching tonight knows that your property insurance is up under him. That's the problem. He could have addressed it in the regular session. He didn't. He could have addressed it in his first special session. He didn't. He's now calling a third special session. I don't think the third time's going to be the charm.
Another question from a voter asked how the candidates will tackle inflation if the federal government can't. DeSantis blamed Biden policies and said that Crist would support them and make the problem worse, while Crist says that answer is proof that DeSantis is more focused on a potential presidential run against Joe Biden, not solving Florida's problems.
The middle class is getting crunched in Florida. You can't get an apartment. You can't afford a house. You can't pay your property insurance because he's taken his eye off the ball over and over and over.
Thank you, Congressman.
One, we have the 5th lowest gas prices in the country right now because we did do a gas tax holiday. We're proud of that. What we're going to do for Floridians who commute, we're going to reduce tolls by 50% statewide for all commuters in the state of Florida. We are going to make all baby items, diapers, cribs, wipes, you name it, tax-free permanently in the state of Florida so you can raise kids and get by.
The other question regarding the economy was about creating more affordable housing. Crist says that he would restore the Housing Trust Fund in the state budget. Meanwhile, Governor DeSantis did not directly answer that question, Matt, but he says his policies are the reason why there is so much demand for housing, because it's made Florida an attractive place to be, and so many people continue to move here.
And certainly the economy would be in a different place if Governor DeSantis had shut down more of it during the pandemic. And I know that's been a big thing for him. He's been pushing one of the things as he runs for re-election. Did that come up during the debate last night?
It did. And DeSantis continued to lean on his economic record. He said that if Crist had been governor this time, he would have kept Florida locked down for longer. And he said that would have harmed businesses. But Charlie Crist then fired back in an interesting way. He said DeSantis is anti-business for picking fights with corporations like Disney World. Crist also blamed DeSantis' policies on COVID for Florida's number of COVID deaths.
Yeah, I was in the audience last night. A lot of the pro-DeSantis supporters chuckled when they said that when Chris said DeSantis was anti-business. And as we know, certainly Florida ranked 15th when it comes to per capita deaths. And so that's a big thing for the Chris side, is that more lives would have been saved if if DeSantis did not open up as much as possible.
Some real back and forth on that issue and a stark contrast between the two candidates, specifically on the issue of COVID policies.
Absolutely. Sam?
Well, Matt and Danielle, dozens of supporters from both the governor and Charlie Crist gathered at two separate locations to watch the debate in Fort Pierce. Both sides with very different opinions on the issues that were talked about, but many agreeing that it will be interesting to see how the debate translates into votes. CBS 12's Kara Duffy is live from the Sunrise Theater in Fort Pierce this morning. Kara, what are these voters saying after hearing from both candidates?
Well, Sam, supporters from both sides had a lot to say following last night's debate. Voters we talked to tell us they were proud of how their candidate handled the tough questions while also pointing the finger at the opposing party. Now, we did see several watch parties taking place nearby. Supporters for Governor Ron DeSantis gathered at 2nd Street. Be sure to watch the debate wearing matching red T-shirts and DeSantis 2022 hats. Supporters there highlighted the governor's record on education and lifting lockdown restrictions during the pandemic.
Well, I felt as though the topic of COVID and Governor DeSantis following the science and opening our state so that people didn't lose jobs like they did in so many other states. And Congressman Chris just kept bashing him for that.
Meanwhile, a crowd for Charlie Crist also gathered nearby. Some held signs that read "For Choice, for Charlie." Here's what one Crist supporter had to say about last night's showdown.
Charlie Crist is being honest. He's telling the truth. He's talking in the world of facts. And Ron DeSantis is a chronic liar. Maybe he doesn't even know when he's lying. He lies so much.
Yeah, these thoughts coming right from people who were down here at Fort Pierce to watch the debate last night. So certainly a lot of people weighing in. I want to send it over to Matt now in the studio with some online reaction about last night's debate. Matt.
All quiet online. No one's talking about. No, of course, this is a big point of discussion online as well. Let's hear about some verified users. Representative Anna Escamani, a Democrat here, saying beginning to understand why DeSantis will only do one debate. He does not want to answer questions or address an audience that isn't 100% his base. Also hearing from Team DeSantis here at Team Ron DeSantis. It's simple. Charlie prioritizes the Biden regime's open border agenda over the safety of Floridians. Ron DeSantis cares about keeping Floridians safe. Meanwhile, Jimmy Petronas also weighing in here. He's the chief financial officer for the state of Florida. He tweeted Charlie Crist never even ran for a second term as governor of Florida. He's the last person who should lecture Ron DeSantis, the hardest working guy in politics. Charlie Crist just doesn't know when to take his fan and go home. For people who are big politics nerds, that was a big thing last night, that Charlie Crist did have a fan. That was agreed, was not an issue with the DeSantis camp. We're going to hear from voters coming up in our next half hour, what they're saying online, Sam.
Well, also last night, our Jim Grimes spoke with political analysts about the debate. Tom McNicholas, a political strategist who works with both parties, and Ryan Nickel, an editor and lead reporter with FloridaPolitics.com. They watched the debate with us and both believe Crist won some points, but they do not believe it was enough to sway voters.
Crist didn't have a bad night. I wouldn't say he had a bad night. I just don't think he hit a knockout punch, and I don't think his wins were on the top issues that people care about.
All right, Tom, I see you nodding your head. You agree?
It was absolutely. It was a desperation debate for Charlie Crist, and I don't think he pierced it tonight. He tried to hit blows that just didn't land, and I think Governor DeSantis did what he needed to do tonight. He's got a large lead. I think the Crist campaign knows that. The DeSantis campaign certainly knows it. Most national polls are showing the same thing, and I honestly think Charlie Crist needed to make some desperate comments tonight, which he tried to, but they just didn't land.
You can watch the entire post-debate recap with Tom and Ryan right now. It is on the homepage of our website. Just visit CBS12.com.
Right now, the most recent poll from Florida Atlantic University shows Governor DeSantis with a comfortable lead over Charlie Crist. This is before last night's debate. 51% voting for Ron DeSantis compared to 40% for Crist. This poll found the most important issue to voters right now is inflation.
Well, right now, polls are open in Palm Beach County for early voting, and on the ballot is a housing bond that could help fight the high cost of living in South Florida. The average cost of a home in Palm Beach County is just over $495,000. That is according to Zillow. Now, Redfin reports show in Martin County here, the average cost of a home is roughly $430,000, and a little less than that in St. Lucie County at $385,000. These prices, though, still out of reach for the average working family. CBS 12's Stephanie Valderrama is live in West Palm Beach with what Palm Beach County voters can do to help the working class. And Steph, it all starts with casting a vote for a housing bond.
Yes, good morning, Sam. That is correct. But it's important to put into perspective who the working class is. We're talking about teachers, first responders, hospital workers, those in the restaurant industry, and arguably the backbone of our community. But it's no secret that due to the high demand and low supply, the cost of living here in Palm Beach County is a lot more than the working class can afford. So if approved, the $200 million housing bond would create 20,000 new units over the next 10 years. Now, those units would be for rent, and some would be homes for sale based on a family's income, not market value. I spoke with the head of the Economic Council of Palm Beach, who's pushing for support.
Our community needs to vote in favor of this bond because this really ensures that the first responders, our teachers, our nurses can afford to live in Palm Beach County. What we're experiencing is they're leaving. They're moving out of Palm Beach County, and oftentimes they end up taking jobs in other places because they simply can't afford to live here. And so we need them to live here. We want them to work here.
So the biggest question voters probably have is how is this housing bond going to be funded? And the answer is through your tax bill. Now, roughly about $4 for every $100,000 that your home is worth here in Palm Beach County. The average homeowner will pay roughly about $14. Again, that's on the ballot right now, and you can vote here in Palm Beach County. Reporting live in West Palm Beach, Stephanie Valderrama, CBS 12 News.
That's so important, of course, for Steph. We're talking a lot about the gubernatorial debate, and that is going to be certainly a race right at the top of the ballot. But in 2 weeks, there's a lot else out there, too, you need to make sure that you are prepared to know about. So even if you don't feel like, you care too much about who wins that governor race, there's other things, other reasons why you should go out and vote.
Of course, there were a lot of important topics that were addressed at last night's debate. So hopefully voters now feel like they have the information they need as they head to the polls in just 2 weeks.
And if you don't at this moment, there's still a lot more coming up here on CBS 12 News this morning and also online. Make sure you download the CBS 12 News app. You can find the entire 1 hour debate there and information, everything you need to know to make sure you are an informed voter on Election Day.
6:12 is now the time. Terrifying moments for a little girl on her walk to school in South Florida. How authorities say she was able to get away from a man trying to lure her into his car not once, but twice in the same week.
Plus, new test results in for students nationwide. The effects of the pandemic continue to send scores into a downward spiral. There is optimism, though, about what the Florida scores look like. We'll tell you why coming up in about 30 minutes.
And a quiet, comfortable start to the day here across South Florida. We're expecting temperatures to warm up heading into this afternoon. Coming up after the break, I'll also have a check on the tropics.